Every human being, no matter how calm they look, is fighting a private war. Not on a battlefield, but in their own mind. There are mornings you wake up and it feels like you're trapped in the fog of yesterday's thoughts. You smile on the outside, but inside, the noise never stops. Part of you wants peace. The other part keeps replaying mistakes, fears, and words you wish you could take back. The Stoics once said, "No man can master his life until he masters his thoughts." Because every action, every emotion, every decision begins in the mind. If your mind is the soil, your thoughts are the seeds. If the seed is toxic, it poisons your peace. If it's pure, it grows freedom. The danger is most people never realize when their mind has been poisoned. They believe every thought they have is truth, but not today. Today we begin a different kind of journey, not outward, but inward. A journey to cleanse the mind, to break free from toxic thoughts, and to reclaim focus, peace, and clarity. Guided by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, and the timeless truths of modern psychology, Part 1, Awareness, the beginning of freedom. Part 1, Awareness, the beginning of freedom. Inner freedom begins with awareness, not the abstract kind, but the ability to see your thoughts without being pulled into them. Most people live their entire lives never realizing this simple truth. They believe they are their thoughts. When a dark idea appears, "I'm not good enough, I'm going to fail. Everyone is judging me." They believe it as if it were reality. And in that very moment, they lose their freedom. The Stoics taught us, you cannot control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Your thoughts are the wind. Awareness is the sail. Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean. Waves crash again and again, never stopping. But you are not the wave. You're the ocean itself. The deep, silent water beneath, steady, untouched, unshaken by the storm above. In modern psychology, this is called cognitive diffusion, the art of separating you from what you think. Instead of saying, "I'm a failure," say, "I'm having a thought that I'm a failure." That small shift changes everything. The moment you say, "I'm having a thought," that you step out of illusion. The thought loses its power. It no longer defines you. It simply passes through you like a cloud drifting across the sky of your awareness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The mind is like the sky. Clouds may cover it, but they are never its nature." And that is where freedom begins, when you can see without reacting. Part 2. Letting go, the art of inner cleansing. Part 2. Letting go, the art of inner cleansing. Have you ever let your mind live in the past where every mistake already happened or drifted into the future? Where worries that don't even exist are waiting for you? If you have, you're not alone. Most of us do it every single day. We carry the past on our backs like a bag of stones, and we call it memory. We call our anxiety about the future preparation. But in truth, they're both just different forms of self-torture. Seneca once said, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." We suffer twice, once in reality and 10 times in the mind. The Stoics called this self-inflicted suffering, the pain we create by refusing to release. No one forces you to keep reopening old wounds. No one commands you to replay the worst-case scenario over and over again. You do that and you have the power to stop. Think about this. When you hold a burning coal to throw at someone, the first person who gets burned is you. When you hold on to resentment, fear, or regret, the first piece you destroy is your own. To cleanse the mind, you must learn to let go. Not by forgetting, but by forgiving. Not because they deserve it, but because your mind deserves peace. If you wish to purify your thoughts, begin with the art of release. Let go of the regret for what cannot be changed. Let go of the anger toward those who are no longer here. Let go of the nameless fears you feed every night before you sleep. Sit still. Breathe deeply. Imagine each breath as a wave washing away the dust inside your mind. Don't force it, don't control it. Just allow the quiet current of stillness to carry away what no longer serves you, because the mind was never meant to be a warehouse. It was meant to flow. Part 3, Confronting the Inner Critic. Part 3, Confronting the Inner Critic. Inside every one of us, there's a voice. Not the one you use to speak, but the one you hear when you're alone. That voice speaks the loudest when you're at your weakest. It whispers, "You're not good enough. Others are already ahead of you. It's too late for you." That voice is the most dangerous enemy you'll ever face. The inner critic. It's not real. It's the echo of comparison, of old wounds, of the fear of rejection. But when you believe it, you give it life. You turn illusion into reality. The Stoics taught, let reason guide you, not reaction. So when that inner voice begins to rise, don't argue with it. Don't fight to silence it. Just observe it like you would a frightened child trembling, not because it's right, but because it's afraid. Ask your inner voice, is this true? Does this thought make me stronger? If the answer is no, let it go. Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Every time you face your inner critic, you train your mental strength. You carve a new path in your mind, a path of confidence, compassion, and wisdom. So don't try to silence the voice, rise above it. Each time you look it in the eye, you move one step closer to true freedom. Part 4. Stillness. Part 4. Stillness. The art of the soul. The art of the soul. The Romans had a word for absolute peace, ataraxia, the stillness of the soul untouched by the noise of the world. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire surrounded by war, betrayal, and death, once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. He commanded armies, governed nations, and yet every day he sat in silence to speak with himself." He understood something most people never do. The chaos outside will never end, but the chaos within can be tamed. Stillness doesn't mean escape. It means mastery. It is the strength of one who has seen through the noise and no longer reacts to it. It's that sacred moment when you sit alone and realize the voices in your head no longer control you, they're just there, and then they fade. Give yourself 10 minutes of stillness each day. No music, no phone, no social media, just you and your breath. At first, you'll feel restless. Your mind will jump from one thought to another, but stay patient, like a lake that's been stirred. If you stop touching the water, it clears on its own. In stillness, you begin to hear the voice that truly matters, not the voice of fear, not the voice of society, but the voice of wisdom. And from that voice, your choices become clearer, your actions become aligned, and your life begins to make sense. Part 5, From a Clear Mind. Part 5, From a Clear Mind to a Clear Life to a Clear Life. A chaotic mind can never create a clear life, just as a fogged mirror can never reflect the truth. The Stoics never sought peace by removing problems, but by facing them with clarity. When you learn to see your thoughts without being ruled by them. When you let go of what you cannot control. When you understand the voice within and return to stillness, you realize something profound. The world outside no longer holds the same power over you. Anger no longer drives you. Past mistakes no longer haunt you. The noise of the world no longer pulls you away from yourself. Instead, you begin to live with intention. A clear mind sees the true value of time, of energy, of attention. Such a person does not waste these gifts on empty arguments, on toxic memories, or on meaningless opinions. He invests them in the present moment because that's the only place where life truly happens. There's an old Roman story about a blacksmith. Every day he hammered glowing steel and the sound of metal echoed across the village. One day someone asked him, "How can you stand that noise all day long?" The blacksmith smiled and said, "At first I heard it too, but then I learned not to. When you focus on the fire and the hammer, the noise disappears. All that remains is the work in your hands." Your mind works the same way. When you focus on right action on the present moment, the noise of toxic thoughts begins to fade. What once felt like a burden was never the burden itself. It was just background noise. And when you stop paying attention to it, you finally begin to hear again the heartbeat of life itself. The fire in silence. Conclusion. Conclusion. The fire in silence. When you begin to master your mind, everything starts to change. Not the world, but the way you see the world. The things that once made you angry now pass like wind. The people who once hurt you now become lessons. And the voices that once screamed inside your head grow quiet because you no longer feed them your attention. That is the true strength of a Stoic. Not the strength of hardened armor, but the calm fire that burns quietly deep within. So when your mind feels restless, when your thoughts begin to race, remember this: you don't need more advice. You don't need more noise. You just need to sit still. And remember, the sky has always been there, unshaken, unmoved, endless. And if this message spoke to you today, take a moment to breathe and share this journey with us, because this channel isn't about watching, it's about becoming. If you felt the fire inside you reignite, hit that like button to keep it alive. Subscribe not for us, but for yourself, to keep walking the Stoic path, one thought at a time. And tell me in the comments with 3 simple words: I choose calm